I am so excited to be here today with you, Jean, and I appreciate your time with all of this. But I know you because I get the opportunity to work with so many of you guys in the city of Scottsdale, but you're one of my favorites. So why don't you introduce yourself to everyone watching today?
Nicole, thank you so much, and I appreciate the time spent with you today. So my name is Jean Munoz Villafane, and I'm the Human Services Manager for Granite Reef and the Senior Centers, or Senior Services as we call them. And then also I've been with the city for about 24 years, and I've had the pleasure of managing this little Camino Center, which is also, that's where your offices are located.
So you have been around for a very long time, have a lot of history. Will you help explain to everyone watching today that history between the city of Scottsdale and Scottsdale Community Partners?
Sure. So there's actually a council-approved interagency agreement with Scottsdale Community Partners, and previously, as I said, Concerned Citizens for Community Health. And that agreement allows both entities to be able to operate a nonprofit section of services, and then also the funding section of services as well too. And so it allows government to be able to receive donations through the nonprofit and make those available to the community right away, as opposed to getting tied in with sort of a larger bureaucracy of programming and budgets and things like that. So it's really an excellent, well-functioning agreement that we have with Scottsdale Community Partners.
And we have, through the partnership, we are able to do a lot of different things. Some are run out of Vista del Camino and some through the senior centers. You want to talk a little bit about those programs?
Sure. So, gosh, it's pretty intricate. So through Vista del Camino, of course, Vista operates a food bank, and they actually have emergency assistance that flows through Scottsdale Community Partners, along with other funding sources. Also, the special programming, the back to school, the Adopt a Family program, both at Vista del Camino. And then through senior services, we have the Beat the Heat program, and all those donations flow through Scottsdale Community Partners. And then also the Adopt a Senior, both Thanksgiving and the holidays. And so those are sort of the major connections with the nonprofit. And so anything that's donated, it could be a box of food that would flow through Vista del Camino or here at Granite Reef or the Senior Centers. That is possible and made available to the public through the partnership that we have with you folks.
That's great. So talk to us about, give us a little background on the Alli Ortega Empty Bowls program.
Sure. So, previously the Empty Bowls event was Empty Bowls. And then a number of years back, due to Alli's passing, it was recommended that the program be renamed or a name added to the program. So that's what became the Alli Ortega Empty Bowls event, which, it's a pretty intricate partnership with Scottsdale Community Partners, Scottsdale Community College, the City of Scottsdale, the Culinary Institute at the community college as well too, and some of the administrative folks over there, and also the Scottsdale Center for the Arts. I would be remiss to forget to mention them as well too. And so really just a really beautiful relationship, and one that is functional, and it also ties in with the World Hunger Days that flows through the community college. And so the Empty Bowl is sort of the culmination of that week or those days. And then the event takes place throughout a whole day and into the early evening.
That's wonderful. Now, I know that you have done a lot of work and being over there at the Empty Bowls event. So will you tell us a bit about maybe that day, or even a favorite memory, or something that you could share about the event in normal situations?
Sure. So the day starts very early with the community college setting up the room for us, or for the event, I should say. And then a lot of logistical pieces, dropping off bowls at, as a matter of fact, I should mention, to go back a second, Scottsdale School District also, and I think Paradise Valley School District also join forces, and then the students actually make a lot of, in a typical year, I should say, make a lot of the bowls that are made available, and then some local artisans also donate their bowls through the Center for the Arts and so forth. So, you know, it's kind of a busy day of bringing in stuff logistically, different staff getting there, setting up the room, and you know, the board comes in, they set up their section of it to be able to accept donations. The Culinary Institute actually has the students prepare a meal that can be, again, during a normal year, as you purchase a bowl, you can actually get a meal to the Culinary Institute as well. And so we have some very important people that come to the Empty Bowls event. Scottsdale's mayor or representative from the city as well comes in. Scottsdale Community Partners, the executive director, the board members, also tribal leaders, because Scottsdale Community College sits on tribal land. And then folks with the community college, the president or a representative, come in and they speak throughout the event. And students, you know, are very important. So the group of students that are brought down from the school district actually come out to the event. They get to see their artwork displayed on tables and so forth. They also get to see, you know, whether a bowl was taken, you know, purchased, is it still sitting there, and so forth. And then one, I think, really important piece of that whole thing, it's not just the empty bowls, but then also that the school, the community college, hosts the students. And in the past, I've actually done tours to introduce students that would normally not even set a foot on campus to be able to see what a local community college looks like. And, you know, Scottsdale Community College has a very nice campus. And so students get a tour after the event. The empty bowl sales go all the way up until, I think, 6 p.m. And then at the end of the day, we have tons of volunteers, which also come in to set up the day. They pick up all the bowls at the end of the day, wrap that up, store it, and then we're ready for the next year. Scottsdale Community Partners comes up, they do a count of the donations, and then we hear the great news about the sales and things like that. So it's really a memorable day. One of my favorite days, actually. So.
And do you have a favorite story? Is there like a time or anything funny that has ever happened?
Um, gosh, after so many years, you know, I think, to me, as a social worker, you know, I've been in the profession for nearly 30 years. And I think engaging the people that take the time to come and look at the event, hear the stories. I mean, you wouldn't believe it's a who's who that comes out to the event. And just, you know, being able to engage people, talking to them, people asking a question, who's Alli Ortega? You know, where did the Empty Bowls event started? How long have you guys been doing this, and so forth? And so, you know, there's been a number of years of refinement of the event. And like I said, you know, it's one of my favorite annual events, but just engaging folks that are coming in, and then, you know, sharing with them about the food thing, you know, the people that receive it, the seniors, the folks through Vista El Camino that receive food. And a lot of people are not necessarily always aware about what their community need is that's out there. And so that's you know, that's just a big piece of being able to share with someone, hey, were you aware that in your community, you know, we have this need, and then here are the resources. That's where Scottsdale Community Partners is such a key organization to be able to make a lot of those things available to folks in the community.
And let's talk just a little bit more about that, of how this program benefits the community, like a little bit more detail on exactly where that help goes.
Sure. So the fundraising through the event actually supports uh, the Vista El Camino Food Bank, which, you know, the senior centers are connected to the food bank as well too. If we have needs here, they drop off food boxes for us, so that the social workers, as they're assisting people in all sorts of other needs, could be rental, mortgage assistance, eviction, domestic violence, homelessness, that food is made available immediately to individuals that come in for their appointments. Without that, we would need to have a budget to be able to purchase all of that food. And I have to tell you, the equation is in the favor of what Scottsdale Community Partners does, and all those donations as well. There's also the Healthy Packs program, which is a children's program by where under normal years, again, children would be receiving a weekly bag of food that is placed in their backpacks by teachers, away from the grouping of kids. And so it's very confidential, private, very dignified, respecting the individual. And then those kids get to take that bag, you know, home. And then, you know, use it over the weekend. Oftentimes in those homes, there's a food scarcity over the weekend. Siblings might even be able to get some help through that backpack program as well too. And so that is filling up a great need. You have the adults that are receiving the food boxes through Vista Camino, and the senior centers. You have the Healthy Packs program that's receiving it through the schools. That's another great partnership with Scottsdale Unified School District. And then other agencies too. It's not unusual for a caseworker from an external agency in Scottsdale that they're on their way to visit a Scottsdale senior, a Scottsdale individual in need, a disabled adult, or a family, and they'll call the city to pick up a food box that is made available through the funding, the fundraising that's done through the event. And so, it's almost a cycle of life. People take the time to care. They come to the event. They purchase bowls. That money goes into the fund for the nonprofit. The nonprofit makes it available to different agencies within the city. And then we're able to get that back into the community to be able to assist folks in need.
That's great. And we have talked with a couple other interviews today on some people just don't realize that we have that need in the city of Scottsdale.
Yes, very true, very true.
So, well, thank you so much for your time, Jean. As ever, we love this partnership and look forward to being able to see you again in person and be able to work side by side with you again sometime. And we just appreciate your time today explaining everything that you have and you've done and our partnership. So thanks so much.
Thank you very much. We look forward to that as well. Thank you.